Hello, Anthony here. I'm going to be helping you out with this question. So Nancy invested a sum of money at 6%. She invested a second sum, $500 more than the first at 8%. The total simple interest earned was $180. And then they're asking how much did Nancy invest at each rate? So if we have this set up, then we can first look at, well, what is simple interest, right? So simple interest is very straightforward. I've written the formula on the board over here. It's the principal, P, times the interest rate, which I made a percentage, right? Times the number of pay periods, N, gives us how much interest we make back. And that's our initial principal, right? How much we put down the first time. We don't make money off of the money that we've been that's been being kept in the bank as we earn interest, right? That's called compound interest, and it's a lot more complicated, and we can talk about it at a different time. But let's just try and set up some equations, right? So we need to know what the sum of money is, but we don't know what that is. So why don't we just use a variable for the sum of money, and we'll call that M, right? So the first investment was how much interest that's going to make, M, since it was only 1 year, right? N is going to be 1. So it's going to be M as the principal times the interest rate, which is 6%, right? Equals some amount I, right? Which we don't know what I is yet, how much of that interest is actually from this first investment, right? But then we also know there's another investment, and it's that same amount M plus $500 more at a higher interest rate times 6. Oh, sorry, not instead of 6, 8%, right? Equals some other interest, I. And now it's because we don't want to confuse ourselves. We'll call this I1 and we'll call this I2. And then we finally know that I1, the total amount of money you make, plus I2 equaled $180. I was going to do degrees because 180 degrees. I don't know why. Alrighty. So if we replace everything in these equations, I'm going to switch over to typing now because I'm going to have to type a lot, right? We have M plus 0.06 because that's a percent as a decimal, right? Oh, wait, sorry, times 0.06 plus, in parentheses, M plus 500 times 0.08 for the 8%, right, equals 180. And now we have one variable and some numbers, and this is just some straightforward equation solving. So we're going to just distribute first. So why don't we distribute, and I'm going to type that in again, right? We're going to distribute first. So now we have M times 0.06 plus M times 0.08, or you know what, why don't we write this as with coefficients, so 0.06 M plus 0.08 M, right? Plus, well, what's 8% of 500? Well, let's see, 8 times 5 is 40, and there's 500, so it should just be $40, right? So that's going to be 40 right there, equals, all right, yep. So equals 180, and then we have to just do some more arithmetic, right? So we combine the two like terms and get 0.14 M equals, and then we're going to plus 40 equals 180. And we do a little bit more massaging. We're going to subtract 40 from both sides. 0.14 M equals 140. Aha! And now we just have to divide. And if we divide, we see that here, you know what, we'll just move this decimal point over so that if I had to multiply by 100 there, I had to multiply by 100 there. And then I just divide out that, and M equals 1,000. Ah, there we go. That's not so bad. And now that tells us that the investments she made were, for this one, $1,000 on the lower one, right? And $1,500 for the better interest rate, right? And there's your answer. Have a good one.